Okay, you made a game in 20 minutes. But can you touch grass though? Well, that actually gave me a good idea.
Later that day.
Look guys, I'm outside touching grass on my bike like a normal person. Wait a minute. Where the hell are my arms? If you're wondering why the hell I've decided to make this guy have no arms, well, we don't talk about that. Anyway, I'm making a bike racing game since if I made a car racing game, some people may think I'm trying to copy a certain someone. Which I'm not of course, but anyway, I thought this would be easy since bikes aren't really as complex as cars, right? Right? Well, I'm just going to warn you now that this is going to be the jankiest thing ever, alright? But it doesn't matter too much as it adds to the personality of the game. So, how did I start this nightmare? Well, a bike game needs a bike, so off to blend to the model it. The thing that's different about making a bike is that I actually have to understand how the bike works.
2 hours later.
Okay, so I just spent 2 hours learning how bikes work, and yeah, I learned nothing. I was just sitting there looking at my screen. But anyway, pedal turn, chain moves, wheel spin, and that's about it. Well, now that the hard part is done, it's time to get to the even worse part. Yeah, there's just pain from now on. I now need to get this bike moving. I attempted many different ways to do this, but the main requirement was I needed physics. My first attempt wasn't too bad, but it looked janky as usual. But hey, I managed to get the handle to rotate, and that's cool, right? To test the next feature, I needed a ramp. Why? Well, it's a bike, so it needs a ramp to do flips.
Do a flip!
Okay, the only reason I want ramps is for the thumbnail, but it's still cool. So I added the ramp to see how it reacts, and okay. Basically, objects have collision like my Giat has a massive box glider. The thing is, a box glider doesn't work with wheels because, well, have you ever seen a square wheel before? If you said yes, then where the hell are you? You living in Minecraft? The hell? But anyway, I thought all I had to do was get a more suitable collider and it would be done. But no. There is no colliders except from one, the wheel collider. Well, Pencil, that seems perfect, right? No, this is the worst thing I've ever done in Unity. When I first started this project, I thought it'd be easy. It was bug after bug after bug, right? No answers online. Like, does anyone actually use wheel colliders? Like, actually. Well, I say that, but there may have possibly been some answers in the tutorials. Yeah, my bad. I am sometimes kind of lazy, alright? So, days passed and I got something, well, let's just say bearable for now. Yeah, I should probably mention that all it does is drift. But that can be fixed in the future, so don't worry. Okay, now it's time for the fun part. Let's just see if the ramps work and I can do some cool flips. Okay, so now after another day, it finally works. Okay, the next thing I need is an armless man, so I'm gonna quickly hit up my friends in the cartel. Link in the description, by the way, because it's not actually mine. So now it's time to make a ragdoll out of this guy, since I want this game to be a lot more physics-based, like games such as Gang Beasts, but just a lot worse. The thing is, I've never actually done this before, so this is probably not gonna work. Luckily though, it's literally just a ragdoll button. But the only problem, my guy does not have any arm bones, so I have to go back, give him some more bones, and then yeah. Wait. Okay, ignore what I said. That was a bit strange, but anyway, it's working. I mean, I don't really want him to be laying on the floor, but it's progress. The way I got him on the bike was just attaching a joint to the seat. Just think of it as the guy being glued down. Well, that's not really what I had in mind. Many tweets later, I got this guy sitting properly. Like, how hard is it to sit on a bike? Like seriously, come on. Should be better than that. I also had to stop his legs from moving since it was a bit of a problem, but like it still needs to move. The way I did this was similar to my boss in one of my other videos, link in the description by the way. There's this rigging package which lets you do a lot more cool things like inverse kinematics. Yeah, look at me with the fancy words. I still have no idea what it means though, but basically all it does is move the leg with the foot accordingly, instead of just stretching out like it did before. So pretty much I can just attach the foot to the pedals and it will follow.
What the dog doing?
Well, that's a bit cursed. Don't worry, I'll fix that later. I should really stop saying I'll fix things later since I'm kind of building up a large list at the moment. But anyway, who cares? That's for future me. Anyway, that idiot can deal with it. Okay, this starter level is starting to get a bit boring now, so I want to actually make a racetrack for this race game, since it's kind of in the name. I started off by making a path, then I shrink wrap that into the terrain, and then sculpt the terrain to make it more natural. Totally original idea here. Anyway, I also added some water and a tree. A lot of trees. I need this as they kind of stop you from jumping off the totally not flat plane I have. Anyway, I got this into Unity and created a sun for no reason at all. No reason for sure. Something I can see reason for is clicking the subscribe button, so press it right now, and while you're at it, press the like button too. Trust me, it's free and I'll love you forever. Anyway, back to the video. Moving on, it's time to make some actual progress, such as making this guy's legs move like actual legs, since I'm actually starting to get nightmares at this point. Okay, so it's looking a lot more natural now, except from the fact that he's just flopping around.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
But that's intended. So now the game is kind of playable at the moment, it's time to turn this trash into an actual game. First of all, I need a main menu to actually start the game. And you know, well, it's kind of important since you kind of need to start the game to play the game. However, this menu is going to be very low effort as I do not have the time to release this game. Something that's a lot more important at the moment is the visuals, as they are kind of lacking at the moment. If you really think I'm capable of doing this alone, or you'd be extremely wrong. But thanks anyway. What I ended up doing was just following this tutorial for a toon shader. And yeah, I was actually pretty surprised as this actually looks good. Once again, link in the description. After this, I got myself a new skybox. I don't really know why I picked the one with the most clouds, but I do switch it out later for a better one. Okay, back to something more important. I still need a way to fail the game, since when you flip over because of a skill issue, definitely not a flaw in the gameplay, you kind of just stay there forever. Also, this guy can somehow breathe underwater.
How are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
Yeah, that should probably be fixed. Speaking of water, I did actually make the water look better as well. You could say I'm lazy, as all I did was make it so when your head hits anything, it brings you back to the menu. A bit of a boring way to handle it, but at least you don't get stuck anymore. So now you can just kind of bike around and it all works properly. But the thing is, that it's not really a goal. So I made these posts that kind of look like candy canes looking at it now. But I mean, it's almost Christmas, right? Anyway, these act as checkpoints for the race, so you know where to go, even though there's kind of a path to show you where to go. Actually, they don't really show you where to go, it's more so you can't just cheat. This is because if I just had that starting pole, you could technically just go through it and then come back and you'd win. Anyway, the current one you need to go through is the normal red and white, but the ones you already have gone through are grey and white, to show that you've already passed through them. I've then added this timer as every racing game has a timer. I'm pretty sure I've not really played many racing games, but yeah, anyway. At this point, the bike movement is a lot more manageable. The bike movement would be a lot more easier with a controller, but the thing is, I do not have the time to add controller movement as I've never done that before. This is not an excuse, by the way, as have you ever seen a racing game played on keyboard? I mean, if you do, well, you're a psychopath, but you know, do you, I guess. One last thing, the ramp has been missing for a while now, so I guess time for an epic montage. Yeah, a bit of a disappointment. I guess I'll have to get another thumbnail somewhere else. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Put some ideas in the comments or whatever. But anyway, see you next time.